YouTube told me to end the video that I was streaming. So it's funny how complicated they make this. I mean, it's not overly complicated, but it's just, well, it's kind of overly complicated, but not undoable. So anyway, I don't know if anybody can hear me, but I'm gonna keep talking. Somebody let me know. And I've got a guest over. I looked down at my phone and bam, it was 7:29. So I'm a little behind setting up. Also, I had to run and get the sheep this morning because they were over at the neighbor's house like a bunch of morons. And so that's what's been going on. Otherwise, I've been sitting by the fire down by the creek and having coffee. So other than that, it's been great. So thank you guys for letting me know. And here we are, back on the warm side of things. Probably like a lot of places, not everywhere apparently, from what I heard, but a lot of places. We had some cool weather recently. Definitely did here. It's been wonderful. We got a little bit of rain even. And today, whoops, although it's sunny, all right, although it's sunny, it's still nice and cool. All right, so I'm gonna assume you can hear me better now. Actually, if somebody would let me know. Hopefully you can hear me better because I just plugged in the microphones. And here comes Sam. Look at that. Wait, is that Sam? Probably, because he looks to be alone. Oh no, that's Namnumkin. And over here's Comanche Moon. Hey, good girl. What's going on? There they are. What's going on? It's weird that they're here. Makes me wonder if one of the horses escaped. Because I've got two horses visiting, if y'all remember. And three of them hang out together, and then the three of them shove Sam away. That's why I thought it was Sam, because he was alone. And I got a little bit of hay in the back of my truck, and so they're after that. So the dang sheep, they're all in the pen now because they went and visited the neighbor's house. And it's so frustrating because like where they were, I've got, it looks really dry right here, but I've got a lot of good field for the sheep. Lots of good food around here. And yet they run to the neighbor's property where it's just like mowed down. It looks like this right here where it's dirt and small patches of stuff. That's how it looks. And they run over there and start eating. It's so frustrating because it's like, it makes no sense. I mean, I understand if they go to the other field where it's greener everywhere, but you know, these horses don't like dogs. And I got Maddie right here at the base of the tripod, and she's gonna nip at her. But she also has gone after dogs before, so this kind of situation makes me just a little bit nervous because they could really hurt Maddie in an instant. And Maddie's got such a big ego, she doesn't mind nipping at these guys. But she doesn't have the speed of a cow dog. Oh, all right, come on, Maddie. There she goes. She got up scared. What's up, Namnumkin? We heard you were doing a live video. Is that right? Really, they just want grain. Hey, good girl. What's up? She just wants grain. So it's fun having animals, but the key to having animals is good fences. Like if I had this property fenced, then it'd be great. Then I could just let the sheep and goats and horses all just roam. But I've got is an electric fence wire, one strand of it, and that's fine for keeping horses and sometimes cattle in. But for sheep, it's just a headache. When I had sheep, once I got rid of the crazy one that would run off, they would just follow my horses around. And so I was able to keep them in with just a strand of wire because they hung out with the horses. But I only had like 4, and so 4 isn't a big enough number that they feel safe. So they chummed up with the horses so that they'd have a bigger gang, you know. And but now there's 21 sheep here, and so they feel the confidence. They have no need to chum up with the horses. So that makes it a headache. So I'm taking them back, which sucks. I like having them, but man, I've been tied down all of a sudden, and I've been realizing it's not gonna work. So, because I was gonna go to Shaniko this weekend, I'm gonna do free coffee in the saloon, free cowboy coffee, but also some nicer coffee in the saloon. And so instead, I'm gonna do it this weekend. Hey, Born 100 Years Too Late's here. Howdy, Brett. Hope you're well. I haven't. I saw that you made some posts. Also, Harold in West Virginia. Good morning. Thank you, Jennifer, for chiming in on how my audio was. And Royce. Good morning, guys. Craig Curtis, Stanley Works. Good morning, everybody. And cool. Good. Glad to hear it. Yeah, I'm doing great. I was just talking about the troubles and trials of having sheep without fencing. And that really is the key to keeping animals, is good fencing. It's like, it's worth it to buy the 5-foot fence and put in good fence posts. But I bought a little bit of fencing that now I don't really need. But anyway, so hopefully I can, I shouldn't say this because I say it all the time, but I'm thinking about going up to the mountains, even if it's just for one night. I'm gonna get up to the mountains, and probably just take one horse, Namnumkin, with Blaze, and we're gonna do a 1-horse night. Maybe even go to that same spot we went to last time, and just do a 1-horse adventure, but close enough where the dogs can go, because those of you who don't know, my dogs are getting old and can't walk very far, but I got to carry them across the river. So maybe we'll go somewhere we don't have to cross the river. Anyway, that's the goal. That's the plan. Poor Rooster will have to stay alone. Our breakfast got interrupted. I slept in late, so my breakfast got interrupted. So, all right. For those of you who don't know, Born 100 Years Too Late is in New Mexico, and he takes mules out. And Brett, by the way, I'm probably going to be visiting New Mexico. I've been reading about Billy the Kid, and my mind is on New Mexico now because they loved it. They talked about, it's funny, they talked about New Mexico as being the most beautiful place they've ever been. Now, I've been to Lincoln 3 times, and I like the desert. As you all know, I love the desert, but I didn't think of it as, wow, this is an amazing valley. But I have found out since then that in Lincoln, years ago, at some point, they diverted the water, I think is what someone told me. I want to learn more about the water situation in New Mexico because I believe it's not good. I think they diverted the water out of the river so that they'd have it stored like in a reservoir, and that dried up the valley. And so now you can see a river going through that, but on the banks, once you get 5 feet, 10 feet, I don't know, 10 feet from the banks, then it's just dry, like at my other property. So it's interesting to read, like the sugarite, the Ruidoso, and I need to find out how to pronounce those words. But anyway, they talk about them as being extremely beautiful. And I also got a friend from Texas who just went up for a 2-week trip. They camp out before the cattle are brought there, and that was at northeastern, fairly northeastern New Mexico, but then they drove into Colorado, so it was kind of the border. And yeah, okay, cool. Well, I'm looking forward to learning the proper pronunciation because I'm putting it in my movie. I had to rewrite my movie because I'm filming in Texas, where I was going to use the Willamette Valley, which was the destination of the Oregon Trail. But since I moved it to Texas, I had to come up with a new destination. And in this book, this guy talked about the Sugar Eat Valley. So I decided to make it that. So anyway, so yeah, Brett says water. What is that? So I know somebody that I follow on Instagram. He was talking about how horrible the situation is on eastern Arizona for drought and overgrazing. And then from what I'm hearing from um, uh, New Mexico is that they've got a lot of drought and dryness. So it makes it tough to leave Yakima. I hate Washington because we've got the craziest. It's like the governors on the West Coast are trying to outdo each other on taxes and craziness. And I mean, like just last year, I think it was, they put another gas tax on us. So I paid $4.90 for diesel yesterday. So, but when I was in Texas, I was paying $2.40 for gas, and I don't know, diesel might have been $3. I didn't have my diesel with me, but it's just so crazy up here. But it's so hard to leave because we got water up here, and we got grass, but we also have mountains, like the open terrain. I like going to the mountains, but I don't like that that's the only place I can go. But granted, I guess in this summer weather, I wouldn't go anyway, unless it was cooler where I'm going. So anyway, thanks, Brett. My movie, it should be good, should be really good, but you know, you never know until it's done. Could be a flop, but the script is good. The actors I got, I think, are gonna kill it, and in a good way. And I'm gonna have quality photography and sound. So as long as I can get an editor, everything's shaping up to be a good success on that. Yeah, Carlsbad turned out to be the drain of New Mexico. So yeah, but I really do envy how much open land y'all got. But I mean, I guess if there's no water spots, then it's hardly usable by horse. We have a place like that in Oregon, southeastern Oregon, like almost the entire quarter panel of Oregon, southeastern Oregon is public land. I might be exaggerating, but a lot of it. And so I had daydreamed about a route going from there down to Nevada, because once you get to Nevada, there's tons of open land. And I joined the Facebook group where they talk about the trail, because there's people who ride bicycles and hike it. That I forget what the name is, but it goes basically from Bend. I think it's further than Bend, and it goes east down to Nevada. But they said nobody they know of has taken a horse on it, and it's because the water spots are so unreliable. And so, from my understanding, if you go in spring, you can get more reliable water, but then the water holes, they dry up intermittently, and you never know when. And but also, I think you can reroute. Like there's towns and places along the way, so I think that if I rerouted, I could find water. But what I dreamed up was pulling a wagon with like 50 gallons, because a horse drinks about 7 to 10 gallons a day. So if you can carry 3 days worth of water, well, then you can bypass all that. But then I decided I barely spend enough time getting these horses broke. I don't need to take on training them to pull a wagon. So I dropped that plan. So also I wanted the wagon to pull the dogs, because the dogs are getting old, and I really want to get out and travel with the horses. Instead, I'm putting it off. I'm just gonna wait till my dogs have passed on, and yeah, you got to know where to find it. So yeah, I remember I asked you once about water holes, and it seems like you said that there are water holes that you know of within a day's ride apart. So yeah, it'd be interesting. The adventure side of me wants to just take off into the unknown, but these days where our horses are our pets, we don't dare do that. In the Old West, they'd just let their horses die. It sucks reading all those stories of the mountain men and the frontier people. They like, well, we didn't find water, so we lost 5 horses. Where it's like these days, our horses are gonna wouldn't dream of making them go a day without water. Um, oh, interesting. Amazing mountains. Oh, crap. Uh-oh, I might have lost everybody. Please chime in. No. Thought I had good service. Anybody? Last time this happened, the last 4 times this happened, it was over. So. Good now. Okay, cool. Sweet. If I move that way, I might be even better. All right, what a relief, man. This whole cell service thing is really frustrating. So once I start making money, I'm getting that Elon Musk internet. I don't care if he does sell my information, or, know my whereabouts. He can come have coffee with me. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, the mountains are amazing here, and we're really blessed. And hopefully Trump doesn't sell them off our public land. But it is. Yeah, Starlink is the way to go. Okay, hey, thanks for stopping in, Brett. Always good to hear from you. Have a good one. Look forward to all your videos. Still here. Thanks, Stanley. Jeff, thanks. Samuel, appreciate that. Craig. It's 95 in Texas, but even 100 in Iran. Too soon. Too soon. I hope the nuclear fallout isn't harming those people. So we should talk about the war. However, if we do, everybody needs to know that when I talk, it's just thoughts. It's not, hey, this is how it is, because that's what we run into on social media. And so that's what we're used to. And usually if we talk about sensitive subjects, we have to kind of brace ourselves and say, well, this is what I think, because we know we're going to get hit back. Guys, that's not how I am. We don't know the full info. There is so much information that we don't know that they're not telling us. They only tell us what they want us to know. So anybody that you see here on YouTube, I listen to Steve Bannon, I listen to the Young Turks, I listen to Jimmy Dore, I listen to the live broadcasts of things. I listen to basically anybody who's given an intelligent rundown. But the thing is, every one of them is telling us what they want us to hear. They're not thinking, okay, how can we piece this together for people so that they have a better understanding of what's going on? None of it. None of them are doing that. And so that's where I'm coming from when I talk. It's like I look into the information ether. All of it is tainted, and I got to gather from that, what do I give more weight to? What are some hints that they drop that they didn't mean to? Because when people communicate, they can kind of expose their inner thoughts. We're already losing people. And see, people don't like discussion. I love to discuss things. Like, I love it when I post and then people give me more information. That's why I post. But most of the people will think, on Facebook I'm talking, most people will assume that I'm posting because I'm trying to tell everybody how it is, because that's all we see on social media. It's so freaking annoying. It could be so amazing where we share ideas and, hey, this is something I've heard, this is something I thought. Oh yeah, I didn't think of that angle. And then we put it together, piece it together. So, yeah, follow the money. That's basically what you're saying, Craig. It's all going to come down to the oil. Yep. One thing I think most of us all agree on is that our government is not in the best interest of America. And that's what we can all agree on and know, that all of these decisions are not based on what's best for America. So, I don't know. It's frustrating because here we are in another war. And my understanding from Iran, and I'm trying to find this out, is that most of the Iranians don't like their government, their dictatorship that's been controlling them for so long. I mean, we've all seen those pictures of the 70s, how they all looked like normal. They all dressed normal, what we would consider normal. And then now they're all the Muslim extremist um, thing going on there. So I'd like to see, I think that most of the Iranians, from what I understand, would like to be freed, but that doesn't mean it's our job to free them. It's just a big complicated mess. So anyway, all right, well, according to my count here, we're down to half the viewers we had. And so maybe then I should bring up Christianity and see if I can run off another half of you. I'm gonna start doing those videos on my Over on the Creekside channel. So if you want to catch that stuff, it's over on the Creekside. And I'm gonna film the first one that I'm gonna do. I forget right now what it was, but I'm also gonna do my Wealth of Nations capitalism talk, because I'm a true American and I'm gonna make a lot of people hate me. But anyway, so I don't know why the horses are hanging out here. They're all hanging out over by my van now, so Maddie just came back over. So yeah, today's Sunday, and it's supposed to warm up by the end of the week. I'm not looking forward to that. So maybe if I can, I'm gonna hit the mountains I wanna just go up there to stay cooled off. Here's Sam, the friendly horse I was talking about. Hey, good boy. But that's an improvement. He just walked by the other horses and they didn't run him off. Usually if he gets in their proximity, they pin their ears and chase him. So he's doing better. It could be that after enough time, they'll all be pals. We'll see. So yeah, thanks, Stan. Thanks, Stanley. Yeah. It's so great here. If I had more money, I would just keep this property, but I do got to sell it. I'm going to sell it. I thought I'd try one more time at animals. Just can't see any reason to keep this place, but I love it so much. But I love my other property better. I was out there yesterday and I posted a picture on Facebook of me laying down, because you just go out there and you soak up the peace and quiet. Like here, okay, I keep moving the camera, but here it looks like I'm all secluded. And that's why I'm glad that all the brush and trees have grown since I moved here. All of these wild roses were all a lot shorter when I got here, because my neighbor ran his cattle here and didn't irrigate, so they'd eat whatever they could. But now I feel more secluded, but even so, like right here, there you go. You can see all the houses. They're showing up further away in the video, but you can see them. And then as soon as I stand up, there's a house right over there that's visible. There's a house back there that's visible. And then the road right down there, right beyond Sam's, the road. And a lot of times you can hear noisy cars coming through. And hey, I mean, it's way better than being in the city. I mean, I'm blessed. I'm not complaining, but when I compare it to my other property, if you hear a car, it's so quiet out there. I hear cars from a mile away, and I think, is somebody pulling up to my place? Because nobody pulls up there. And then I go outside and I realize, oh, it's a mile away. And it's just so quiet, you can hear it. You can hear the tires on the gravel. And that's what I'm talking about, the tires on the gravel. You don't hear the engines. That's how peaceful and quiet it is out there. It's just so nice. But the problem out there also is, as soon as the heat comes in, it just hits hard out. It comes down hard. There's no trees to shade the ground. Like up in the mountains, that's why even though the sun's shining up in the mountains, there's all the trees making a shade blanket for the ground. Because if you guys went to had science if you're paying attention. The temperature of the air comes from the ground. The sun heats up the ground and then the heat rises off the ground. So if it's all shaded by trees, then it's going to be a little cooler. And then also in the afternoon, you get more shade from the trees, where here out at my other place, the sun just beats down until about 7:30 right now in the evening. So you get 14 hours of sun hitting the ground. Now, I'm not complaining. I've spent summers out there and it's fun in a rugged way. But I'm just saying, that's why right now I'm here, because hanging out there, like, and the dogs particularly, I'm ready to take on a little bit more heat. Like, I enjoy that ruggedness and I'm ready to take it on a little more, but I don't like making the dogs suffer. Where here we just hang out down there by the creek where we get a little bit of a breeze. We get in the water to cool off, and it can be 100 degrees out here and we're feeling fine. So when I do sell this place and I go out to the other property, I'm gonna have to finish that hole that I'm digging and get down into the thermal cooling, set up a couple of really good shades, and then use my running water to keep a tank clear that we can jump in, and then we'll beat the heat. But I don't know. Right now, it's easier to keep the horses out there. I don't think I'd want to put these two new horses that are here that are not mine. I wouldn't want to let them run loose, because one of them, he's pretty strong spirited. I think he's dominant over my mares already. If he was submissive to my mares, then I wouldn't worry about it, because I don't think the mares would run off, but I think he might. So I don't want to take that chance, because if they run off, they're gone. So anyway, that's what I was wrestling over as to whether to go out there. Oh, the other thing I could do is buy buy 3 solar batteries and then run an air conditioner in my cabin out there. But I don't want to spend all day long in air conditioning, because I could also bring my cabin here and sit in air conditioning, and I don't want to do that. It's more fun to adjust to the temperature. Basically live outside. My favorite year was the year that I lived outside. It was the year I started doing comedy. Even though we had rain, it was raining constantly until this time of year. It was so weird. Such a strange year. That's why I lived in the teepee that year, and then I moved outside, slept outside. Now I'm sleeping in my van with the doors open, so it's kind of the best of both worlds. But I like being able to be in my van, because when the wind blows, it's just downright annoying. We had some heavy wind. So then I just go in, close up all the, is that leeward? Anybody a sailor? The leeward side? The side where the wind is coming, I close up all of that and leave a door open on maybe that's the leeward side, the downwind side, get out of the wind. So anyway, it's a good life. I'm still cooking on fire. I was out of my property yesterday. I could have grabbed my propane burner and then I just pop it on, but nope. Not the Harleman. I'm committed to cooking on fire, because it's just so much more rewarding. It takes extra work, but it's so much more rewarding. And cooking the dogs' food, I ran out of the deer meat, so now I gotta buy them meat. I'm not as aggressive now about getting animals to butcher, and I don't like that I'm supporting the meat industry, but it should be temporary. When I get back down to Texas, I plan to get a lot more of that deer scraps and try to get a year's worth for the dogs, so I can feed them the best meat there is for free. Yeah, Craig is referencing my teepee video. That's one of my top videos. My top video is by far the top. It's over 100,000 views, which tons of people have way more views than that, but that's my top video. And then my teepee video is there I've got a few in the second place category, and I was surprised. I've been pleased that how popular that one is. But anyway, it's fun just being outside, adjusting to the temperatures, adjusting to the heat, adjusting to the cold. Well, All right, I went away from the war talk because I don't think anybody wanted. Oh yeah, and Samuel said such a struggle to get something similar here in the UK. Yeah, we really are blessed here in America, and that's not to rub it in. It's just I recognize my blessing. I don't want to take it for granted, is what I'm saying. Um, but at least hope you can come and visit. And it's easy to camp out on public land here. So I always hope that people are able to come over and do that and enjoy that. You can go down to New Mexico and camp for 3 weeks. Well, you can camp longer than that, just right out in the desert. When I was traveling across New Mexico, I ran into a sheriff. He stopped when I was pulled over on the side of the road for something, and he stopped and he told me, he assured me, he's like, yeah, you can park in all these areas. Just pull in through a gate and just drive wherever you want, and nobody mess with you. So that was really cool. It was good to know that the sheriffs how they felt about it. And then the funny thing was that was as I drove toward Roswell from Texas, and then I saw the same guy over in when I made it to Lincoln, Fort Stanton. There's actually horse corrals there, and I was camped there, and I saw the same sheriff. That guy was really cool, and it's cool to be in a place where they have that attitude. And so New Mexico's a neat place. I hope to see more of it later. And yeah, so hopefully we don't get bombed, and hopefully we don't get into a nuclear war, and we can all keep enjoying the outdoors and camping and the good life. Um, Samuel says, I think the best bang for buck I'll get over would possibly be Scotland, but then you're up against the weather. Yeah, it's kind of rainy and gloomy there all the time, isn't it? But that's the second time I've heard that it. Does Scotland have. I've never been to Scotland, but it seems like they might have public land where you can go and camp. I know the one guy who does his name slips my mind. He does the Scottish historical camping. Of course, he goes out all the time. Mr. Hazard, good afternoon from the UK. Only came across your channel yesterday. Oh, cool. Welcome. Thanks. Glad you found it. Thanks for the comment. We've been talking today about sheep and the horses, but now the horses are gone. Oh, yeah, they wandered off that way a while ago. Samuel, when we're talking about Scotland, Scotland is more so wet and miserable, but wild camping is illegal there. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I watch that guy's videos and I think, my goodness, I would just stay home. But I mean, I applaud him. He's done an incredible job with his camping and stuff. But I love dry. If you haven't noticed, I very much love the dryness. I can go what we call the wet side of the state, the wet side, the west side, the Seattle side of the state, and it's a lot more damp over there. But that's where you get the big tall cedars, and it is cool there because the trees are so dense and so big that that it's very shaded, and there's some beautiful rivers. So it's neat to visit, but it's so dense that the only places you can really go are campgrounds. And I don't like paying to camp and having people all around. But I did stop at one. I was trying to see if it was one of the camps we went to when I was a kid, and the rivers are just so beautiful. You get huge trees falling over in the river, and then could be 8 feet deep in some places. You can count. It's so clear you can count the pebbles, and so it's neat to go and see it. And then there's ferns everywhere, lots of moss, very picturesque a lot of times. That's one of the reasons Washington is so neat. It's such a neat place because we got um, diversity, and it's not extremely far away. And that's why Yakima is nice because we're close to the mountains. Um, so we got the desert here, which I like, but then we got the hills and then the mountains. Versus like Walla Walla, they got to go to the mountains the other direction. I think those are closer. but they're not as cool as our mountains, the Blue Mountains. They're cool. All the mountains are neat, but we got the Cascades, Mount Rainier, Mount Adams, volcanic mountains. So anyway, let's see. Talked about the animals, talking about I got to get ready to go on an overnight. It's going to be a short trip because I want the dogs to walk. Probably won't cross the river, but I also got to find a place where there's not a ton of mosquitoes. One thing that I want to do, we've got a lake up there that they used to plant those lakes. I don't think there's anybody planting them now with fish. And that's why in that one video I did where I caught the fish, it was big and beautiful, tasted amazing, because their diet up there makes usually trout have white flesh, but sometimes they'll have pink flesh depending on what they eat. That's my understanding. So they have the pink flesh like salmon, and they're huge and easy to catch. But now it's been kind of fished out. Like usually a lot of people are conscientious. If we go up there, you just catch one or two to eat, and then any more that you catch, you put them back so that we don't fish it out. But I once was up there, and the guy was nice enough, but he was there there was 3 of them, and he was telling me how, yeah, we've caught 14 fish each, and catching way more than they need. And they can, I mean, they're allowed to, but it was just kind of annoying. It's like, you know, we're all trying to come up here and catch fish. And I don't know that he was, I don't know, he probably just didn't think about it. But anyway, he was a nice guy. He had some interesting information too about water and the fish. And he's the one that told me that, because most people say they don't reproduce up there, but he was telling me that they do. And he had good reason for it. So it was really interesting. But anyway, there's another lake up there that is just a horrible lake to get to, because there's only one access to the lake. It's really marshy all around it. And there's only one spot where I actually rode my horse in there, being naive and being ignorant about it. And the mosquitoes were horrific. They were just terrible. My horse was bleeding, and I think I even had mosquito repellent, and it was ineffective. And so the point is, that lake doesn't get fished because nobody wants to deal with that. And so what I've been wanting to do is go on a moonlit night, because our nights get nice and cool here. Go on a moonlit night when it's in the 30s and go fishing it then, when the mosquitoes are down, when there's no mosquitoes or very few mosquitoes, and enough moonlight to fish. So something I hope to do this year. We'll see, because it's getting pretty warm. Like when I camped on my last trip, the mosquitoes were out all night. They weren't really bad, but they were worse than I expected. I thought that early on there wouldn't be a lot of mosquitoes yet, but then I realized that was when I went up to the lake, because the lake is up at like 6,000 feet elevation, and I was camped at like 4,000. So always learning, always figuring out those little unique differences. But I've also noticed out there that if you get away from the meadows where they're full of grass, because those meadows, the snow melts and it's marshy. When you get away from those into the woods where it's dry, then you can get away from the mosquitoes. So I might try that, where we let the horses eat in the daytime, and then in the evening go into the woods. So we'll see. You gotta keep experimenting, playing around. One thing I won't do is make my horses endure the mosquitoes. I just won't make them do that. Because we can be down here where there's no mosquitoes. So it's got to be a better situation. And I mean, I'm just too nice. I make my horses do stuff for me, but I don't want to make them suffer too much. Cow patty on fire helps with mosquitoes. Yeah, I suppose it would. There's no cow patties up there. I'm starting to get some now. There were a whole bunch of them when I moved here because my neighbor kept cows here. Thanks, Mr. Hazard. Have a great day. And thanks again for finding the channel and being a part of it. Yeah, no cow patties here. Or starting to get some now. When I moved here, there was a ton, and then I guess I burned some. I was experimenting with it. It was hard to keep them burning. And then there's none up in the mountains where I go because the cows are all lower where they graze. So, yeah, we'll see. Anyway, that's the stuff I'm juggling. That's the thoughts. I wish I could show you the baby sheep. I can see them, but they're too far away. I don't dare move my phone, but I got 2 baby sheep here, and they're so dang cute. And when you pick them up, they'll run from me. One of them is a little more tame than the other one, but because when I pick them up, I always take them to their mom because they're lost. And but once you pick them up, they're just so docile. They're just limp. And it's not because they're feeling safe. Sheep are the weirdest thing. Like, they have this thing that once you grab their back, they just stop. It's like they're the easiest prey for a predator. And but anyway, so they're just so vulnerable, and you really just feel like protecting them when you got them. And so it's neat carrying them around. And the other thing, there, you hear that? There, so that baby, I don't know if you can see it. She got separated from her mom, or he, I guess they're both he's, I think. He got separated from his mom and his brother. And so this is something I noticed with goats, and I've noticed it with the sheep now too, that it's so bizarre. I don't know how wild ones are. I'd like to find out, but I'm assuming at this point that it's similar. So when a cow well, cows too, when they get separated from the herd, their response is to cry out. You know, like that little guy there. He expects, okay, I cry out, and that'll bring mom and safety. You know, they feel safety in numbers. They get scared when they're alone, just like people. And he thinks if I cry out, mom will come to me. I don't think I've ever seen his mom go looking for him when he's crying out. And I'm thinking, what the heck, mom? Because otherwise, she seems like a good mom. And on one hand, I get that because you got to train your kid to pay attention. So a little bit of fear and safe conditions can make him pay more attention. But after a while, and I have seen her look for them when it's been too long. Like, they got separated once and she started to get nervous. But the point is, so a small sheep, a small goat, small cow, they're vulnerable because they're small. And then they get separated from the herd and they don't know how to get back to safety. So what do? They start crying out. Well, now you're notifying every predator in earshot that you're alone. So what kind of safety measure is that? Like, it's counterproductive. It's kind of like, hey, I'm alone. It's strange to me. And there's got to be a life lesson in that. But anyway, you know, you think about animals, you think about them developing to be safer. Not necessarily. Maybe they've evolved to feed predators. Make it easier for predators. See that? Because you would think that they would have evolved, that the mom would notice, or that the herd would notice someone's missing. Let's collectively make noise so that they can hear us and quietly find their way back. That would bring them in, but instead it's the opposite. Let's stay quiet so he can't find us, and let him cry out so that he alerts cougars and coyotes. It's just really weird. Anyway, survival of the fittest, I guess. I think that's what that comes down to. I like to examine animal behavior and then say, how are us humans similar? Because I think we also do the same thing. We expect people to keep up with the crowd. Yes, there's the Jersey cow Craig Curtis just asked. The Jersey, I tried to get her out. So I was letting out half of the sheep at a time, thinking they wouldn't leave the property if half of them were contained and half of them were loose. But no, they left. It comes down to personalities. I don't know which, I'm not sure exactly which sheep led them off the property today. So anyway, I tried to get Milla the cow out, tried to let her out, but she takes too long. And in that time, the sheep were about to come out of the pen, and so I had to close her in. And Bowser the dog is in there too. He's fun. He'd be here on camera if I would have brought him out. So I'll have to let Milla out. Yesterday she had a friend. I was really happy for her. So last week I got a call from the neighbor saying, hey, your Jersey is in my pasture. So I had to go get her. And I thought, hey, well, poor girl has been all alone, because she'd hang out with the cows across the fence from her, and they'd just hang out together. And so I thought, oh, at least she got to go hang out with them. Well, so I get over there to see where she is. She's way off by herself, eating, and all the cows are on the other end of the pasture by themselves. There's the sheep. I'm going to see if I can let them in. So anyway, I then went over and got her, and all the sheep, or all the cows came around to see what was going on. And she didn't. Gate. And then yesterday, or 2 days, I mean, my microphone works. And yesterday, she had a cow friend out in my pasture with her. It was so funny. But that cow was terrified of me. When it saw me, it ran off. I didn't care. I was just going to him or her, I'm not sure, stay hanging out. But apparently it went back home. I don't know how. I guess they're jumping the fence. It's not a really high fence. But I guess they're jumping it, because I don't think the fence is down, or else they'd all be coming through. So anyway, cows are funny. I love cows. I think they're really sweet. All right, well, maybe I'll call this quits. Y'all aren't being really talkative, so I'm not coming up with more stuff to talk about. Oh yeah, I didn't feed him the deer meat. I actually ran out of the deer meat. I got a new Great Pyrenees here. He's not mine, he's just visiting, but that poor dog, I'm gonna hate to see him go. He loves hanging out with me. He's so affectionate. But anyway, I ran out of the deer meat before I got him, but I did have to feed him for a couple days. I fed him really good. Now I just mix in some meat and maybe a little bit of meat oil in with his dry dog food, because I don't have the heart to just give him the dry dog food. And they've been eating pretty good. All right, guys. Any questions or comments? Otherwise, I think I'll cut this off and go eat my breakfast. I didn't get my breakfast eaten before the video because I had to go get the sheep out of the neighbor's property. But I guess I'll let it go now. Hopefully I'll put out my first Over on the Creekside video, and hopefully I'll get up for an overnight with one horse. So big things happening, guys, over on the wild side. All right, everybody, happy war weekend. Have a great war day, and do something outdoors. Simplify your life. And always remember, life's a lot more fun over on the wild side.